All right, we should be live. Give me a 5x5 if we're live, and then I'll continue with the show. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Remember, I'm 100% demonetized. All support for this live stream comes from you. And there's a workaround, and that link is in the description. If one of my mods wants to drop that in the chat room. Matter of fact, if you want, I'll go ahead and drop there. If you want to, I got it set up to where if you send a quote unquote super chat, basically drop a donation in the tip jar, it will appear on the screen. Five by five, cool. I'm going to open myself up to criticism tonight, and I'm going to tell you why we're going to have this kind of show and why I'm doing it here instead of on DLive. There, I just pinned a message. If you guys want to refer back to that message, I think it's pinned. Yeah, there it is. What's up, Steven? The Spring Corpse, Dan, Buried, Lex, Chivo, Micah, Sour D, Oddball, Beck Schmill, Michael, Thomas, Dave, Trust in Jesus, Kingdom Sons TV, Cuba Bound, Wayne Morris, Robert, Derek, Middle Finger Media. That's funny. Hope you guys are doing well. What's up, WCM? What's up, Key Solars, Aaron, Josie, Bamboo Soldier, Starburst, Trot, Billy, Leanne. I'm from the government and I'm here to help is here. Run! Run! I'm from the government and is here to help. Is here. Holy mackerel. What do we do? Katie, bar the door. All right, good. I'm glad we have audio. Yeah, Mike Lindell's on the screen right there. Before I start this video, I want to make it clear to everybody, including YouTube, that I do not support the QAnon nonsense. I think it is nonsense. We exposed that as nonsense from day one with the very first Q drop, because anybody who tells you to trust that there are good guys in government that are going to weed out the bad guys in government and government is going to save you from government, that's just utter nonsense. The sharks are going to save you from the sharks. You're swimming in an ocean and you're surrounded by a school of sharks and somebody goes, hey, just relax. Just relax. Those sharks over there are going to save you from those sharks over there. No, they'll fight over you. One will try to get your leg and the other try to get your arm, but neither of them are there for your good. So don't trust this. The sharks are going to save you from the sharks. So we are completely against the QAnon conspiracy, just like we're against fake stream media. You know, whatever you count as fake stream media. But here's the deal. There's a thread line that runs between both of them, both the QAnon sense and the fake stream media nonsense. And that is that they want to get you to buy into the idea of the legitimacy of politics to rule and be overlords over your life. That's the bottom line. Q says trust the plan. In other words, trust the government. Trust government's going to save you from government. And mainstream media, whether it's the right or the left. The right side of media, like Fox News or Newsmax or One America News Network, they'll tell you, hey, you can't trust the left, but you can trust the right. But there are some of those people on the right that are rhinos and they're really not on the right. But you can't trust the right side of government. Oh, did that not appear on the screen? That should have appeared on the screen. Let me see. Alert box. Sorry, I didn't have that as an overlay. It was underneath everything. So now it should appear on the screen. Let me see. Let me test it. Sorry, F the government. Appreciate that donation, man. They'll appear on the screen on the lower left-hand side. So you got QAnon saying, trust the government, trust politics, only trust our brand of politics. Make sure you try. The QAnon people are saying, trust the Trump brand of government. The Rachel Madcows of the world on the MSLSDs and the Chris Cuomo's and the Communist News Network say, trust the left brand of government. Remember when Chris Cuomo got up there with, who's that other chick? Brooke Baldwin. And they were joking about how they've done so much for the Hillary Clinton campaign. She better win because we're the main supporters of her campaign, and they were just yucking it up. Guys, that's not journalism. That's not integrity. When you involve yourself in bias and you put yourself on one side of the coin or the other, how can you ever hope to get out the truth? So CNN early on showed themselves to be biased. Being biased is not what journalism is all about. Being a journalist is not just speaking the truth to power, but being loyal only to the truth, no matter where the chips fall. That is honest journalism. Ferreting out, it's like a journalist is going, I don't know what the truth is, but I'm willing to ask the questions. Key bono, who benefits? Follow the money. Let's follow this trail wherever it may lead. And if it implicates somebody that I particularly like, so be it. I'm beholden to the truth. I'm in the cult of truth, not in the cult of personality. And I wanted to do this video because, and so let me just make that clear to YouTube, to anybody who thinks that I'm taking a side or whatever. I'm an equal opportunity offender, and I want to be quote unquote offended, and I will be offended if I'm partial to something other than the truth. You can't get offended if you're partial to the truth and somebody comes and tries to assail it. Truth is unassailable. And if you're stuck to that rock, if you're cemented to that bedrock of truth, it doesn't matter what waves come. It doesn't matter if it's a 10-foot wave or a 150-foot wave. When it comes and splashes against you, when the waters recede, you're still holding fast to the truth. And it won't jar you from the truth if you're beholden to the truth. And sometimes the truth is so freaking hard to find, especially in this day and age where there's deception everywhere you turn. Our goal should be not to check into the cult of personality, to never take that first sip of Kool-Aid, because it doesn't end with a sip. People end up chugging it. That's why I call it drinking the Q-Laid with all the Q nonsense. And they have breadcrumbs and they string you along. Oh, it's going to happen. This certain person's going to be arrested on October 30th between 7:45 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. on this day right here. And then when it doesn't happen, what should happen is people should look at that and go, wow, that turned out to be a lie. That's not true. That they completely discredited themselves. Why should I ever listen to that person again? And they lie, and then they lie, and then they lie, and more people come along and they tell more lies, and they become more elaborate and more layered. I have no idea. I have no idea what that just was. Something was just playing in the background. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about if the speakers. It's a religion, because it's a construct of belief. These people like Mike Lindell and Charlie Ward and this Nicholas, whatever this guy's name is. I don't have anything personal against these people. Nothing. I don't have anything personal against Charlie Ward. I guess that this video is playing in the background. This is Charlie Ward's channel. Don't know who Charlie Ward is. I don't have anything against this David Nino Rodriguez, this Ann Vandersteel, Charlie Ward, Juan O'Savin. I have nothing personal against them. Here's what I do have is when a message runs afoul of the truth, when a message continues to lead people on and is riddled with just a bunch of lies. And so when I put out a video like the last video I just did, here, I'm going to bring it over to the screen right here. When I put out a video right here where I talk about Mike Lindell and Newsmax, for some reason, the only thing people can hear me saying, which I didn't say, is that I'm in the corner of Newsmax. Do you not realize that the CEO of Newsmax gave $1 million to the Hillary Clinton campaign? Well, what does that have to do with it? I'm not for Newsmax. I'm not for One American News Network. I'm not for Fox News or CNN or any of these places, because I found them to not be in line up with the truth. And the sad part about our reality is that it's easier to deceive the masses, and I guess it will always be easier to deceive the masses than it will to convince them that they've been deceived. Jonas 333 says, and by the way, guys, I mean for this video to be interactive. I want to interact with you guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say. There are certain things that I want to say, and then I'm going to open it up later for a live call-in, and you guys can hammer me. Just let me have it. Where am I wrong? What am I off on? I'm going to give you the premise of everything that I operate from is going to be, I'm going to show you that it comes from a premise that I'm going to lay down tonight. Jonas 333 says, amazing Polly could have been such a good person to have on the side of truth, but she fell into the Q cult. She did, and it is a cult. And what I mean by cult is anybody who has to abandon logic, reason, morality, rationality, and go into a construct of belief. Just believe me because she said it. Amazing Polly said it. SGT report said it. X22 report said it. Mike Lindell said it. Newsmax said it. CNN said it. Anytime you've got that kind of thing going on, it's a construct of belief. It's literally a religion. You're not operating on the basis of fact and knowledge and truth. You're operating on the basis of some things that are enigmatic and vague and really it's fallacy. It's a construct of belief. So that's what I try to get away from. So let me just lay something down for you. If a crime is a violation of somebody's will, then anything and anybody that goes against the will of an innocent person who is not harmed, threatened to harm, stolen, or damaged somebody's property is a crime. Let me just repeat that. A crime is a violation of somebody's will. So if any person, I don't care who they are, I don't care what title they have, I don't care if they're a judge, if they're a law enforcer, if they're a politician, if they say they're a government agent, they come with the authorities and the credentials of the state. I don't care. That's an individual. You strip it all down. You take away their costume and their shiny badge or their robe or their titles, and it's just a human being. Any human being who violates another person's will, another innocent person who hasn't harmed, threatened to harm, damaged somebody's property, stolen somebody's property, you come against them, against their will and without their consent, that is the very definition of a crime. And if I oppress you when you don't want to be oppressed, I'm committing a crime. Can we all agree with that? And I know this is kindergarten stuff, and I'm not trying to talk down to you, but I want to lay the foundation and the basis for why I'm even on social media, or why I wake up every morning and sit here at this freaking computer for hours trying to get information out. Why am I do that? What's motivating me? Well, I'm laying down the groundwork for what motivates me. If I support your oppression at the hands of another person, even though I'm not the one committing the crime, I'm supporting the crime. So if anybody lifts up their hand to oppress anybody against their will, any innocent person, they've committed a crime. If I oppress you when you don't want to be oppressed, I'm committing a crime. If I'm supporting the oppression of an innocent person by the hands of another person, I'm supporting a crime. If I put in writing that I want you ruled and robbed against your will, then I'm voting for a crime to take place. And that's the big problem that I have with voting. Your vote is your written consent with your signature that you want somebody else to rob and rule other people who may not want to be robbed and ruled. Maybe you want to be robbed and ruled. That's your life. You can do whatever you want to with it. But for you to vote, cast your written consent and signature and vote of support for somebody else to be robbed and ruled, because that's what elections are. That is what the voting process is. That is exactly what you're doing. You're writing down your written consent for somebody else to be robbed and ruled on your behalf with your support. If anybody thinks any different, I want to hear it. If I'm not thinking logically. Further, if majority rules is two wolves and a lamb deciding on who to oppress, who to violate, and who to have for dinner, if I'm part of that majority, then I've chosen to identify with a group of oppressors and criminals. If you're on this, don't take comfort in the fact that you're on the side of the majority if your group, your majority, wins the vote. In other words, you win for one person to rob and rule other people. Oh, you're in the majority. Oh, very, very good. I applaud you. Wow. Being on the side of the majority, by the way, historically speaking, does not put you on the side of morality. Usually, it's the exact opposite. If you're in the majority, you're usually on the side of immorality. Time and time again. This is all criminal activity and cannot be construed to be moral in any sense of the word. So if you're on the side of the majority who voted to oppress and rule and rob and harm other people who don't want to be messed with, you're actually on the side of those who are utterly immoral by definition, or morality and majority doesn't have any meaning. If I participate in a system that affords me the opportunity to be a part of the majority that wants a ruler or who will rule over and rob not only me, but other people who don't want to be ruled, then I'm part of a completely corrupt system. So what am I saying? I'm saying if you're on the part of the majority who wants people to be robbed and ruled in your name with your written consent, as in the voting process, then the entire system is corrupt. If the entire system is corrupt, then what does it matter if the election process is fraudulent? If the entire system that underpins the voting process, the entire system from top to bottom, I'm talking about 100% corrupt, then why are people fighting for the election process was fraudulent or not fraudulent. It doesn't matter. You're actually fighting to participate in a system that is utterly corrupt. Well, we just want free and fair elections. You want it to be free and fair for you to be able to participate in a system that is utterly corrupt, where the majority gets what they want, and what they usually end up getting, the majority always ends up getting, is for other people who don't want to be ruled. I will go over everything that you guys are sending. I don't see it on the screen right now, but every donation that you guys send, I will definitely read out everybody's chat. Thank you guys for taking advantage of that. So hopefully what I said makes sense. So let me just read you what I wrote here. The activity of voting is your participation in an utterly corrupt system led by corrupt people who do corrupt things to other people, including censoring, stealing, kidnapping, starting wars, oppressing, and killing. And that's just scratching the surface. Not even scratching the surface. Voting is your written consent to not only be ruled and stolen from, but your support to have others be ruled and stolen from on your behalf with your consent and your vote and your support, which is the very definition of criminal activity. So when you involve yourself in the voting process, no matter what you think about it, no matter if you think it's a good thing, I'm sure you have good intentions when you vote. But just like Daniel Webster said, good intentions will always be pleaded for what? Every assumption of authority. There are men in all ages who mean to govern or control well, but they mean to control. They promise to be good masters, but they mean to be your masters. What's Daniel Webster saying? You can say good intentions all you want to, but if it ends in evil, all your good is for naught, for nothing. And if somebody has an argument against that, I really want to hear it, because I want to be on the right track. I want to stop spreading disinformation if that's indeed what this is. If there's a victim, then there's a crime. If there's no victim, there is no crime. There are victims when you vote and you support that activity, the activity of criminal activity. So if the entire system is corrupt to the point where no matter who the victor of the so-called election is, it always ends up with the same basic policies benefiting the same banking and corporate cartels. And you guys know this is true. Because it doesn't matter if it's a Ronald Reagan Republican or a Bill Clinton, Barack Obama Democrat, the bankers always win. The national debt always increases, which translates to transgenerational debt slavery on the shoulders, on the backs of our future unborn posterity. Every single time, red or blue, R or D, donkey or elephant, it doesn't matter. So we're engaged in something that's utterly corrupt. Utterly corrupt. So why are we fighting for, fraudulent elections? What are you, fraudulent to what? Fraudulent to corruption? I want an honest crack at participating in corruption. If we're going to participate in corruption, I want it to be honest. I don't want it to be fraudulent. It's just another layer of corruption on the corrupt pile of crap that's already laying there. It's basically saying, but I want the free and fair choice to elect poop soup or turd sandwich. Let's be honest with this. Let's be honest with ourselves. So when I put out a video like this and I get 755 likes to 112 dislikes, I never get that many. But I know when I launch videos like this, it ends up happening like that. Why? It's because for the most part, people are caught up in the cult of personality. What is on the screen here? It ends up in the what concerns me about dislikes to likes is not that it hurts my feelings. It's that it reveals something that I don't really want to, I don't want it to be there. I know it's there. I know that when I do these videos, it reveals it. But what it's revealing is people are coming out of the woodwork of the cult of personality. They're getting their feelings hurt because they like a Mike Lindell, or they like Newsmax, or they like OANN, or they like Donald Trump, or on the other side of it, they really like Barack Obama. You know, I understand people respect Mike Lindell. I don't have anything personal against this guy. He's lying, though, and he's shown himself to be a liar. And I've shown that time and time again. When you guys got the guy on a Lear jet heading to Minnesota for a Trump rally saying, don't worry, guys, I'm telling you, Trump's got another 4 years. You don't have to worry about it. Biden will not be president. That's a lie. When SGT report says hashtag Biden will not be your president, it's a lie. It's a freaking lie. They're leading you down the wrong path, and it pisses me off. Hopefully rightly so, but if it's not, then you're going to let me have it. And that's why I've opened myself up to criticism tonight. Let me just read this last thing that I had written down because I wanted to get all my thoughts out. How does it matter if the entire system is corrupt from top to bottom. If no matter who you vote for, the bankers always win, the national debt always increases, the military-industrial complex becomes more powerful, civil asset forfeiture is still in place, the drug war is still in progress to some level or another, you're still getting taxed out the wazoo, nobody does anything about the Federal Reserve, nobody does anything about the IRS, nobody does anything about the income tax, no one does anything about the property tax. Nobody, ever. Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter. Read my lips, no new taxes. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. It's all of it, man. It's all of it. Think about it. We all sit around as a people to the tune of tens of millions, supposedly 76 million for Donald Trump and 81 million for Barack Obama. No, Joe Biden. It's baffling to me that even one person gets in line and goes, I think it's I know how corrupt politicians are. I know that every time they move their lips, they're lying. I know there's nothing you can say can be trusted. I know they're bought and paid for, but dadgummit, I'm going to choose the lesser of two evils. Your choice for the lesser of two evils is still freaking evil. And so what people are telling you when they're saying, well, we want an honest election process. By the way, it's not an election process. It never has been, and it never will be, at least since 1913, when the Federal Reserve came online. Amschel Rothschild says, give me control over a nation's money, and I care not who makes its laws. Why? Because the people who hold the purse strings, they're the ones who are really in control, not the politicians. The politicians are just the marionettes on the hands. When the marionette changes or the puppet changes, the hand still stays the same. So there's all this running around going, no, look, he put out a 3-hour video to show you it is absolutely fraudulent. Look, the voting machine, they've been tampered with. Look, there's the evidence right there. So what? So now you want a pure, non-fraudulent way to tap into the 100% corrupt system? What does it matter if it's fraudulent or fraud-free? So if it's 100% corrupt, it doesn't matter about the voting process, which is already 100% corrupt. It contains an additional layer of fraud known as election fraud. What are people actually fighting for? The opportunity to continue participating in a corrupt system that ends up harming and stealing from other people. In other words, you participate in the very immorality that you say you hate. The reason people put politicians in place is because they want to make their world better. Think of that. Think of it for a second. What is a politician? Practically, historically speaking, not my opinion, but practically and historically speaking, what is a politician? They're a parasite. They're a drain to society. They don't produce anything. They don't give anything in return for society. They don't do any good. They're like a tick or a leech out in the wild. What does a leech do? What's he looking for? He's looking for his next blood meal. He wants to feed off of a host. He's not going to make his own way in life. Somebody else is making their own way, and they're walking through the forest, and the leech just latches onto their hoof and then crawls up their leg and then finds a nice little tasty spot and just starts sucking away until he falls off. Same with a tick. Tick is, if you ever seen pictures of ticks, they're just waiting on that leaf, just still as can be. When that deer comes along, they just spring into action. Spring on that back or that ear or somewhere around the mouth or somewhere where it's nice and warm and toasty, and they can get a quick blood meal. Those ticks don't produce anything. They're sucking the energies out of that host. Same thing with the politician. Why do you think I call it political parasites? $174,000 a year for the base congressman. That's $83.85 an hour, $83.65 an hour. Why? So that they can turn around and produce things that we all need and that we all use and it's useful and it makes our lives better? No, so that they can write policies. When they write a policy and it becomes a law, which by the way, that's a misnomer, men cannot make laws. Men can write down edicts. They can scribble down and scrawl down fancy commands and opinions, and then apply the magical pixie dust of the legislative process. There's your belief right there. There's your cult of personality. It's all fiction. It's all fairy tale. And until we get out of that fairy tale, until we step out of that fiction and take a look back and go, holy crap, I wasn't even involved in reality. I was in the cult of personality and I was cemented in my own cognitive dissonance. I didn't even know if I was coming or going. Until you get out of that and you look back, you can't make the change and become a part of the solution because you're too busy being a part of the problem. Voting for the chains of somebody else's oppression. You don't want to be oppressed. So why are you voting to oppress somebody else? Well, as long as it's my guy, he's going to oppress us less. He's going to beat us with fewer stripes. He's going to make our chains lighter. He's going to rob us less. But he's still going to rob you, and you're endorsing it. Until we stop endorsing immoral behavior, we ain't going to go to square two. Guys, there has been no advancement in the last 107 years since 1913. Now it's 108 years. Doesn't that concern you? And the reason we can't advance, people are always like, man, you say the same things over and over. You know why? Because nobody's freaking listening. What's the answer? Well, the first answer is to stop being a part of the problem and becoming part of the solution. And the only way you can be a part of that solution is stop begging your masters to oppress innocent people, to steal from innocent people. Stop participating in that system. Stop getting mad because they ripped a free and open democratic process away from you that is now fraudulent. Fraudulent. What a freaking laugh. It's not if it was an election process, even if it was an election process, which it's not, a selection process. Anybody they put up there, even if there's 25 people up there on the Democratic stage like there was, earlier in 2020, when they were all vying for their opportunity to be president of the United States, it's all a stacked deck, man. It's stacked against you. The house always wins. It's like going to that casino in Las Vegas. You really think you're going to win? And any winnings that are given they're metered. They're metered as marketing. They used all those small winnings as marketing to bring more suckers in, because there's a sucker born every minute. Oh, I'm going to beat the house this time. I've been watching that machine, man. I got this right here. Sometimes they'll give you $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. But so what? They just raked in $1.5 million that night. What's $10,000? The house always wins. And in this case, the House and the Senate and Washington's district criminals and the governors and everybody you continue to vote for. But you know why? Because the one thing that voting does, and the social engineers know this, as long as you continue participating and consenting to the chains of your own enslavement, you become demoralized and you have no right to complain when you get oppressed. Remember, it's like that George Carlin said. He goes, hey, I don't even vote, so I have every right to complain. I know people turn that around and they say, if you don't vote, you have no right to complain. If you vote, you do have a right to complain. Well, where's the logic in that? He goes, when you vote, it's because of you the national debt increased. It's because of you the military industrial complex got empowered. It's because of you there's civil asset forfeiture, because you're endorsing that with your vote. When I didn't vote, I didn't endorse any of that stuff, so I'm the one who has the right to complain. That is absolutely, completely logical. And and another thing I want to be clear on, I'm not against hope. If you have a hopeless life, you don't have any life at all. We got to have hope. But the problem is it's a double-edged sword. Hope is good because it gets you through those hard times, those dark times. Just believing that there are better days ahead can get you through this dark moment. That's a good thing. But the double-edged sword of that is there are social engineers out there who know that we are hopeful people, and they take advantage of and exploit that hope and manipulate the hopeful. And that's exactly what QAnon nonsense is. It's a manipulation of the hopeful. It's not wrong to be hopeful, but it's wrong to be drugged by the nose by your hope. Because then you check yourself easily into the cult of personality and you follow all this nonsense, like some of the nonsense we're going to talk about tonight. We are going to talk about some of this nonsense. And the reason I wanted to go live right now on YouTube is because the audience is a little bit bigger on D Live. And number two, it is 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And there was a prophecy given by Charles Ward here, who promised that the military was going to take over all broadcasting, print and broadcast media, and show that Joe Biden has been arrested and that other congressmen and women have been arrested. Guess what? I gave him an hour and a half. It's a lie, guys. It's a freaking lie. Charlie Ward is lying to you. And I don't mind calling them out either. People are like, you're just jealous because they have more views than you. Guys, you can make all the arguments you want, all the unsubstantiated arguments you want. That's easy. Any fool can do that. Any fool can start a quarrel. Any fool can launch an ad hominem. Any fool. But it takes a wise man to go, is what he said true? Did Charlie Ward really lie? Did he make that promise and it didn't come to pass? Did Q say certain people would be arrested and they didn't get arrested? Oh, okay, that's objective. Besides, accusation without substantiation is the height of ignorance. It always has been, and it always will be. So before I open this up to the live chat and the call in, and let me a couple ground rules about the call in. Let's keep it only to 5 minutes, and then I'm going to put it up for vote and vote. This isn't voting to oppress anybody, though. If you guys feel like, we need to move on to another caller, then put a 2 in the room. If you like the caller and you want the caller to stay on, then you put a 1 in the room. I'm just going to leave it up to you guys. Because I've been known to keep my a caller on for far too long, because I don't want to cut somebody off or anything. But if you guys say, hey, let's move on to the next caller. Try not to be ugly or anything like that. Thank you, Lady Smith. Thank you, Lady Smith and Ready. Okay, let me just read. Okay, I'm going to go over what Charlie Ward said, but before I do that, let me just call out some of the what are we going to call it? Not super chats, because YouTube does not want you to send a super chat. YouTube does not want you to fund or donate to this content creator. So I'm not going to call it a super chat. I'll call it a donation or the tip jar or something. Well, F the government from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, drops $3 and says, "Hey man, hey back to you, man." NC Tyrant Hunter. By the way, NC Tyrant Hunter, check out his channel. He's got good stuff. I like it when he exposes tyrants. He sent a $5 donation. It says, "Keep doing what you do, brother." Thank you, man. Snapzilla drops $5 and says, "Hey, Brian, people don't understand how voting is a signal of submission." That's another good point. It's basically you submitting to a corrupt system. This system is corrupt. You know what the politicians are going to do, even if it's your politician. "We have begun freeing people from them, but we need global exposure. That is truly the reality we are now dealing with. God bless, and I watch every episode." You're awesome. Oh, thank you, Snapzilla. But wait a second. Voters hang their logic up. This is from Snapzilla. Let me start over, because I just conflated two of them. I just mixed them. Snapzilla says, "Hey, Brian, people don't understand how voting is a signal of submission. Voters hang their logic up and sit back while the controllers they put into place continue to murder, extort, devastate countries, and rape resources. It's insane." It truly is. It truly is. It's insane, and it's demoralizing. And I'm done. I'm done with being demoralized. I'm done with seeing my neighbors be demoralized. It's very humiliating. Come on, let's be men and women. Let's stand up and go, you know what? I don't want to be oppressed, or why would I vote for the oppression of others? And why would I want the most corrupt among us, i.e. politicians, governors, senators, congressmen, doing corruption on my behalf? It's just ridiculous. Marco Pietro MPTV says, he drops $5 and says, "Brother, I tweeted you about the COVID 1984. I got to be careful what I say here on this live stream. Internment camps here in Canada that are up and running. We have begun freeing people from them, but we need global exposure. That is truly a reality we are now dealing with. God bless, and I watch every episode." Okay, Marco, you tweeted. Give me a DM. Give me a direct message tweet. It just click on my name, and I anybody can DM me on Twitter. Twatter. Lady Smith and Ready drops $10 and says, "The reason for thinking is so that our thoughts die and we don't. The reason for thinking is so that our thoughts die and we don't. It's why people read fiction or play video games. There is no logical answer to this maze." Donald Thomas drops $10 and says, "Hey, Brian, I really wish you would have someone else with you to give a different argument instead of you just ranting, so that we can at least see if your arguments are true." That's why I'm doing a call in tonight, man. So maybe you can call in tonight, Daniel Thomas. Thanks, man. I agree with you. I don't want to lock myself. That's another thing that's dangerous. Don't lock yourself into an echo chamber. As soon as you start doing that, truth pretty much goes out the window, because if you have nobody to challenge your ideas and you think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, whether you think you do or not, whether you're cognizant of it or not, it's a pretty dangerous place to be. So I agree with you, Donald Thomas. The Art of Truth and Love dropped $20. "I had a lot of disagreements with you, but overall, you're as real as you can get. I support you." Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's humbling, and I'm sure we don't agree on everything. But you know what concerns me about that? What is it? What are the major things that we do disagree with? What are we in disagreement about? All right, so let me just. I'm going to play this after I read this. Let me show you. Hopefully I got it up. Where is it? Okay, here we go. Now, I covered some of this last night on my D Live, but it's really worth covering again, and I'll tell you why. because let me see if I got this. Oh yeah, there we go. It moves. I want to show you what this guy says. And again, I want to reiterate in case an algo is trying to pick this up. This is from, I'm going to read it from the beginning. This is here. Let me show you on the screen here. Let me move this over here and let me move this over here. This guy right, where is it? I need one more screen to make this all streamlined. This guy right here is Charlie Ward. You might not know who Charlie Ward is, but Charlie Ward is very, very famous within the QAnon circles, along with a guy named Simon Parks, along with a guy named Michael Jaco, along with this guy right here. He's rising, Nicholas Vienneman. Again, I don't have anything personal against these guys, but I'm telling you, these guys are leading you down the wrong road, and I'm going to give you a perfect example of that right now. And guys, this is just one of many examples. Okay, so hold on to your thinking caps. Let me get this in here like that, and here we go. This was posted on February 3rd, just 2 days ago. Today's the 5th, on a Telegram discussion board with Charlie Ward, the Charlie Ward channel, by a person who identified themselves as Tracy. Now, the reason this is relevant to Charlie Ward is because Charlie Ward, right here in the video to the left of this that you see, is going to read this and basically give his amen and say that he has double verified the authenticity and legitimacy of what I'm about to read to you. This is from the Netherlands. Europe knows more about what's going on here than we do, he says. It's done. It is done. Deep state collapses. The best is coming now. The official announcement of martial law and a legitimate military government in effect since 12 a.m. on January 20th was made on Friday, January 29th. Really, where's the proof? Where's the proof? Anytime I see these people getting interviewed, and when just a hint of a question is, okay, so for the viewing audience, Charlie, that hears you say this, where is the proof? Where is the evidence to back up your claim? They ramble about something for 5 or 10 minutes and never answer the question or give any evidence, and end like he's going to end and say, hey, if you don't believe me, do your own research. The only problem is you can't do your own research because they claim to have gotten it from high-level military sources. Where are you going to go on the internet? Let's see. The revelation of high-level military sources. Well, you're probably going to come back to a source that leads you to something that somebody like Charlie Ward or Simon Parks, who thinks his mom's a 9-foot green alien. That's relevant, guys. People are following a guy who believes his mom is a 9-foot green alien with 4 fingers. I'm not kidding. If you have any doubt about that, I have a BitChute video specifically on this, a 3-part series. The official announcement of Biden's arrest, these people say, along with 355 congressmen and 109 senators. Guess what? Nobody did their homework on this. 355 congressmen and 109 senators. Guys, there's only 100 senators. You can't have 109 senators. I don't even know what they're talking about here. And isn't it 435 instead of 455? 464 elected on January 24th and 25th was made on Sunday. Really, where's the proof? They're basically saying 355 congressmen and 109 senators, 464 elected on Saturday. Biden's arrest along with these people happened on January 24th and 25th. And it was made on Sunday, January 31st at 4:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Really, where's the proof? I mean, I'm not kidding you guys. These people are so out to lunch. And the people that follow them are so out to lunch. Here, let me show you how bad it is. Let me show you how bad it is. I am going to go to, this is the, oh wait, I thought I had it. I thought I had it up. Let me see. Let me open a new page here. Here's how many people follow these people. If you go to, let me get rid of that for a second. If you go to the top trending on YouTube's main page, almost every single one of the top 10 are people who promote the things that I'm reading. Charlie Ward is number 1 with 112,000 views in 20 hours. That's crazy on BitChute. The Truth Videos 1984 gives the absolute proof from Mike Lindell's Absolute Proof documentary. Absolute proof that we don't want fraudulent activities going on when you're trying to participate in a 100% corrupt system where you're asking the government, who is responsible for over the lives of over 250 million people in the last century alone, for that government to rule over and rob other people. That's what Mike Lindell wants you to beg for. Will Paranormal, Q guy. Nicholas Veneman, Q guy. London Pete, Q guy. X22 Report, Q guy. I don't know who this guy is. Okay, this is Michael Jaco and Juan Saban, Q guys. All these guys are promoting these lies. Look how many people are putting up the absolute proof. Look how many views they're getting on BitChute. It's crazy. So the reason I go over this is because there's a lot of people following this stuff. There's literally people out here who are taking people like Charlie Ward at their word. They're actually believing everything that we're reading right here. And while you may be sitting there going, you got to be kidding me. If all those senators and congressmen were actually arrested, we would know about it. This isn't something that can happen in the dark of night. Matter of fact, Charlie Ward contends that Joe Biden was arrested last March and executed. This is what he says. And the guy that you're seeing now is either a clone or he's a body double or one of those two, but it ain't Joe Biden because he's already gone. He's already out of the picture. He's not even on this earth anymore. It's astounding. It is truly astounding. So continue on with this. These announcements were made on the dates and hours above to all American media, television, radios, and newspapers, and to all world news outlets. The announcements of what? The announcements of all these arrests from all these congressmen and senators. They literally said it happened. What was the date that they said it happened on? January 31st. And they're specific at 4:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They even give a Greenwich Mean Time. These announcements were made on the dates and hours above to all American media, television, radio, newspapers, and to all world news outlets. As expected by the legitimate military government that runs America, as well as Trump and Q-Force, this official information was 100% censored by all official world media. So if you say, well, I didn't hear about it, it's like, well, of course you didn't. You've got your head in world media. You've got your head wrapped up in mainstream media. Of course you didn't hear it from them. It's like, okay, but you're telling me that it happened. Can you give me proof? And it's like, prove that it didn't happen. It's like, what are you saying? You made the claim. I can't prove a negative. No, go ahead. Prove that it didn't happen. That's not how it works, guys. When you come with a claim, then you come with evidence to back the claim. Otherwise, you're just freaking asking people to believe you at your word. And that's really what they're doing. They're like, no, I'm not going to tell you, look, you're acting lazy. You got to do your own research. How am I going to do the research when you're saying that it's coming through covert military channels? The U.S. military government knew this and wanted it that way. It's like, hey, this is a big 5D chess game, man. You don't understand it. You don't see, that's your problem. You're a little peon, man. You're like on the lower rung. This is way above your pay grade. We got some 5, 6, 7D chess that's going on here that's way, way beyond your little pea brain. As with Biden and his party's coup d'etat, the legitimate U.S. government is allowing the U.S. media to commit widespread treason by having them censor the legitimate government's official statements about measures of national security and immediate danger to the American nation. It's all just fictitious, man. It's all just a lie. It's all somebody's in a back room going, okay, what should we say now? Oh, gosh, it really doesn't matter what we say because the lemmings will believe anything. They say the Illuminati meaning of media of the, I can't say that right there. I can't say that right there. And you know why, but you can read it. Have all fallen into a trap. Now the legitimate military government, guys, name a legitimate government. What is government? Governo and mentis. Governo means to control or govern. Mentis means the mind. Mind control. That means there's somebody there. If you're in government, you want to control other people. Is there any legitimate cause? Is it legitimate for a person to believe that he has a higher claim over the life and property than others? No, there isn't. Well, if there's not, then government, I don't care if it's military government, there's no such thing as a legitimate government because there's no legitimacy in a person saying that he has a higher claim over the life and property of others because that's what government is. That's how government acts. Now the legitimate military government can take over provisional control of all such terrorist media whenever it wants, as dictated by law and the U.S. Constitution. The U.S. military government will take control by force of all official media, radio, television, newspapers across the United States. Here it is. Here it is. This Friday, that's today, February 5th, today at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, let me just remind you, it's 7:46 Eastern Standard Time right now. They've had an hour and 46 minutes to prove this prophecy that, again, didn't come to pass. Go ahead and go to your TVs right now. What they're basically saying is, here's what they're saying. This includes the acquisition of all U.S. channels on the broadcast satellites and broadcast live in Europe. So in Europe and America, even on satellite, all mainstream, what do they put it? Radios, television, and newspaper has been taken over by the legitimate government. This also means that all Europeans with satellite reception antenna who receive U.S. channels can no longer be censored and will therefore find out the truth from Friday evening, February 5th. That's right now. We should be finding stuff out right now, but it ain't coming. You know why? Because like we said, when this whole show began, it's all a freaking lie based on a lie and covered with frosting of a lie. Among other things, the U.S. military will be obligated to broadcast on all these American mass media revelations about Biden's coup d'etat, his arrest with elected officials on Sunday, January 24th and Monday, January 25th. So that's what you should be seeing on your TVs right now. Go ahead, go to your channels. Turn on CNN, turn on Fox News, turn on ABC, CBS. You know what? It's there. And they said it wouldn't be because it'd be taken over. And what would be laid bare as a revelation for all is that Joey B got arrested and executed, and he's taken care of. And all these 109 senators and 455 congressmen are in the clink. Really, really. And I'm the nut. People are literally calling me, "Oh, you flipped, Brian. You flipped." Yeah, I'm the one telling these tall tales right here. Finally, on February 12th, the U.S. military government will officially, evidence submitted to all world governments and to the press internationally, publish all evidence of the conspiracy committed by French, Chinese, and other governments to create a false global, you know what, to overthrow the U.S. government. This by ruling its economy and by destroying the entire world economy. It's an act of war that gives, among other things, the legitimate right of the U.S. government to overthrow the Macron government, that's the French government, and any other terrorist government. P.S. Please don't bother me who my sources are. You don't have to believe me. Do your own research. Charlie Ward. Now, let me just show you that this is something people could go, yeah, this comes from a person named Tracy. Charlie Ward's not saying this. Oh, yes, Charlie Ward is saying this, and I will prove it right now. Listen to this.
As with Biden and his party's coup d'etat,
he's reading. What he's doing right now is he's reading what we just read, but listen to what he says when he gets done reading.
Legitimate.
Who paid you, Brian? Who paid you? Claim there was no election fraud, Brian. It does, Chris. Maybe you're new to this live stream. It doesn't matter if there's election fraud, because it doesn't matter if you have a choice to participate in the corrupt system or not. It's corrupt 100% top to bottom. Besides, how can it be not fraudulent to vote to oppress and rule over another person who doesn't want to be oppressed and ruled over? So who's paying me? That's just a hilarious. The implications there are just thick.
U.S. government is allowing the U.S. media to commit widespread treason by having them censor the legitimate government's official statements.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody said these guys are nutcases. JB Morgan said that. Yeah, they are. They show themselves to be. They really do.
About measures of national security and immediate danger to the American nation. The Illuminati media of the Fourth Reich and newspaper
I wish I'd had
across the United States.
When you say that word right there, it just sets off algorithms.
It's Friday, the 5th of February.
I'm going to just forward.
That's today at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I wanted you to get to this.
11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, or midnight Central European Time. This includes the acquisition of all U.S. channels on the broadcast satellites that broadcast live in Europe. This also means that all Europeans with a satellite reception antenna who receive...
All right, I'm just going to fast forward because we already read this. I just wanted to show you that he is reading the very thing that we just read.
2021. So, and it continues to go into a little bit more detail. In fact, I'll read it through because it's very important.
Please do.
Among other things, the US military will be obliged to broadcast on all these American mass media the revelation and revelations about Biden's coup d'etat, his arrest with elected officials on Sunday, the 24th of January, and Monday, January the 25th. Finally, on February the 12th...
Just going to fast forward this because I want to get to the very last thing he says when he finishes this.
All evidence of the conspiracy committed by the French, the Chinese, and other governments to create a false global to overthrow Macron and other terrorist governments.
Here we go.
Wow.
I think that lays it out fairly clearly, Nick.
So it does. It's very interesting because, first of all, where are you reading this from?
On my screen.
What's the source?
It's come to me from a very, very good source that's working in high office. So I have had it verified by 2 different people.
A very good source coming from high office, and I've had it verified by 2 people.
So I have had it verified by 2 different people.
Absolutely. No, of course you're.
So translation, I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds kooky, but hey, it's legitimate because I verified it. So, you know, later on when it doesn't happen, and we are in later on because he said this before it was supposed to have happened and it didn't happen. Now he can just say, well, that was just what my source said. He is putting legitimacy into this fabrication. You can't weasel out of this stuff. This is stuff all these people believe. I just want to show you. Let's see if I've got, Jaco says the exact same thing. And listen to how he tries to weasel out of it. I know I covered some of this with DLive, but there's 1,435 people in here. I bet there's like 1,000 people that haven't heard this. This is only 1 minute and 30 seconds. Listen to this guy.
Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. So we're hearing reports of arrest. There's people that are reporting on it. Santa Surfing has compiled a list of Congress people that have been arrested. We're going to look at a little.
Really, name them. I know not one. The name of this video right here is "Arrests Are Happening and Are in Reports and Visually Available for All to See. Be ready on 2/5." Today's 2/5, and he's alluding to the military taking over all broadcasting networks.
A bit of that in this show, and a lot more. So I'm going to point out the inconsistencies that are going on in the MSM. I'll also point out where they are talking about there is going to be on the 5th, fingers crossed, the MSM is going to be taken down because they refuse to report some information. That
MSM is going, he makes a definitive statement. He says MSM is going to be taken down. Well, it hasn't happened, and we're past that time.
That basically had happened.
Which makes him a liar. Come on, guys. If you say something that's not true, the thing that you said was going to happen doesn't end up happening, you lie. You're caught in a lie. Doesn't matter if you put it on your sources. You're the one who trusted your sources. You're the one who has a big platform. You're the one who disseminated it to his audience. You're the one responsible for the lie that you told.
And that means on the 5th, from some reports, they're going to, move in. Military is going to move in and take over the MSM, and I think that's going to happen all over the world. So, we've heard these reports before, and it's kind of like when you're in combat, they tell you gear up.
Now he's going to weasel out of it. Well, but just in case it doesn't happen, here's what happens in the military world when they say something's going to happen and it doesn't happen. So he's basically laying down for himself a verbal insurance policy. Listen to this.
We're going to go out on a mission, and we got target information, and then they tell you to stand down. And it's like it's up and down, up and down. But you get used to that. It doesn't really. You don't get really wrapped around it. When you go out on a mission, it's like, okay, we're on it. and you'll brief it a certain way, knowing that when you get on the ground, it's going to completely change. I was on one of the longest briefs I've ever been in when we did. We're looking for Noriega in Panama, and we took rounds where we're coming in, and everything changed.
See, because I don't believe one word he said, because he's lied to his audience so much. I don't believe they took rounds. Maybe he was in the military. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he's stolen valor or whatever. But I don't believe the guy took rounds, because I don't believe one word that comes out of the guy's mouth. Because why would you trust somebody who constantly lies to you? You're a fool if you do. It's like the boy who cried wolf. Okay, I'll believe you this time. I'll believe you this time. I'll believe you this time. And the wolf never comes.
All that 3 hours worth of briefing was gone. We hit the ground, and then we reacted. We moved, because that's what a professional does. So as all of you are reacting to this information, don't get really wound around any of it, because it moves on a dime. It changes, it shifts.
It moves, it changes, it shifts. It's dynamic, it's ungraspable, it's real vague. And if it doesn't happen, hey, well, you know what? That was the best my source could do. Oh, well, forget about who cares. Basically, what they're doing is crushing truth into the ground. It's like truth doesn't matter to these people. It's like all delusion. I'm selling you delusion. So, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open the phone lines. Let me read. Before I open the phone lines, I'm going to go through some donations here. Let's see. I already read the Art of Truth and Love. Jonas 3333 dropped $5 and says, everyone is waiting for someone to do something. We need to realize each and every one of us is someone. We can all do something. Totally agree. The Art of Truth and Love also dropped another $20 donation. Says, the only thing I ever disagreed with was you selling masks. Other than that, you speak the truth. Yeah, and after talking to Anomaly, I agree. I agree with that. And I'm not gonna defend it, other than to say I offered them initially because people go, hey man, I got to wear these at my work. I'd rather have a message on it. And I just did it. So I took those down because I see how hypocritical that is. I've never worn one and don't plan to. It's a ritualistic shame muzzle, and I mean it when I say it. So, bad on me for even offering those. Backschmill drops $3 and says, I'm a gender neutral alien. Are you guys? Marco Pietro drops $3 and says, won't allow me to message you on Twitter about internment C's. Don't know why, but here's my email. Okay, man, thanks. F Jack Dorsey. Backschmill drops $3 and says, can't wait for the Jabbo app on our smartphones to fly for my vacation, because I want to keep everyone safe and healthy. Yeah, there's certain words that I'm not going to be able to say on some of your chats, guys, just because the algorithms are really working their havoc. Red X Pen drops $5 and says, oh my God, can we please make up an email to send these people where we claim we're learning at the FBI and the special agents were assigned to told us. Awesome made up story. That would be so much fun. What, just because people are apt to believe anything? Emerald Rider drops $20 and says, hope, faith, or belief has never changed anything but your own state of mind. Love your heart, man. Check out my convid test vid. Good. Cheers. That's from Emerald Rider. Okay, Emerald. Thanks, man. Drop that link in the chat and I'll check that out. All right, I'm going to open the phone lines. Let me put first of all, before I open it up, let me unlock my phone. I got it on Do Not Disturb. Notifications, Do Not Disturb. Okay, so we're going to stick with 5 minutes, and you guys put in the room a 1 if you want the caller to keep talking, and a 2 if you want to move on to the next caller. So phone lines will be open right now. There's the call-in number, 918-410-9174. Oh boy. Let's see. Sound.
To accept, press 1.
Okay, hey, who am I talking with? Where you from, and what you want to talk about?
Hey, Brian, it's Caleb. It's Liberty Revolutionary. I sent you that thing the other night on D Live.
Oh yeah, about HB. What was it? HB what? 85?
Yeah, HB 85/310 because they combined the bills. Oh, by the way, that thing did pass the House completely.
Oh, the Missouri
yesterday.
The Missouri resolution passed.
It wasn't a resolution. It's a law, not a resolution. There's a anyway. It difference is one holds legal force in quotes, and the other one doesn't.
Okay, all right, cool. What you want to talk about tonight?
Oh, I just wanted to say, of course, I think someone else super chatted this in, kind of a variant of it, but I can imagine like the CIA guy just sitting behind a computer, just laughing his ass off, thinking about these people buying into this stuff with the Q moron.
What do you personally think it is where people gravitate? I know there's the hopium. I know people have hope of a brighter day, and gosh, maybe somebody in a bright shining white horse is going to come and rescue us. But beyond that, what do you think it is that has people believing the stuff that's clearly false and it just leaves a trail of lies?
I'm one who tends to just kind of study sociology on my own, just for my own entertainment at times. And it seems like it's always when someone feels like there's a bunch of people behind something that might correct a problem, and they feel better when they got a bunch of other people that believe the same thing. It's that mob mentality.
Yeah.
And it's something that's inherent in human nature. It's an evolutionary trait that sticks. That's the only way I can put it.
Right. Yeah, I tend to agree with you, man.
Oh, another thing is, so the other day you were kind of questioning about that HB 85 about the exactly how it would block like NICS checks and things like that. Well, there is no law in Missouri that requires a background check for anything. You can sell guns, whatever, private sale, but with that, it effectively blocks the need for going to an FFL for anything. You couldn't necessarily import things in the state, but whatever you manufacture and whatnot within the state, you can sell and open market. However,
so are there FFLs in Missouri? Can somebody come from Oklahoma or another state and go and buy from a dealer?
Yeah,
without a background check.
If you are. And see, that's the other problem too. Say like if a state next door might have the same thing, but it's focusing on within state because it focuses on what they can get away with, which is the anti-commandeering doctrine that's been held up by the Supreme Court for however long,
right?
For almost 200 years has been held up. Now that's a tricky part because the Constitution still kind of delegates, even though regulate back in the day meant to make efficient. They have to work with what they can.
Yeah. But
for overall, within the borders of the state of Missouri, the actions you take when you live here, it is a sanctuary state, is the baseline of it. And you do not require anything, manufacture, sell, whatever, anything with a tax stamp, and that includes the machine gun ban, because the only thing that is on the law books in Missouri is you have certain destructive devices with, say, an explosive warhead you can't have in Missouri. And there are certain places you would require a carry permit. Everything else is concealed, open carry, whatever. Nobody cares. And as for the clause that remarks about like unlawful transfer, the definition of an unlawful transfer is to knowingly transfer to somebody something that you know is going to commit an act of violence. Those are really the only three laws in Missouri.
Yeah, well,
everything else is cut out.
Based on that, I think I'm going to have a trip to Missouri in my near future. Me and Trish are going to come down there and load up, man.
It's being shoved through, and I mean, as fast as humanly possible. It's been tried for a few years, but now with the HR 127 that's trying to be shoved through at the federal, it's real. And the thing is, here in Missouri, I mean, lawmakers, whatever, I mean, whether they should exist or not is a here nor there, but they don't get paid like elsewhere. They get paid like $35,000 and some change per year, plus some really shitty per diem. So they still have to work. in order to maintain their living, because the mid-ground, the average income in Missouri, like the median income is $41,000 to maintain anything.
Yeah.
So, like the guy that represents this area, District 55, he still owns his, a Christmas tree and pumpkin patch farm. I mean, this is how it is here.
Yeah. I like that down home kind of stuff. It's kind of like that here in Oklahoma as well. All right, man. Hey, listen, I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah. Good talking to you.
All right, man. You too. Take care.
Bye. Okay,
guys, if you disagree, please call. I don't want to be talking into an echo chamber. I appreciate every call, by the way, but if you disagree with me, if you think I'm in error on something, hey, let's talk about it. Truth fears no scrutiny, right? So the number is 918-410-9174.
Brody Paget.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Hey, you're live on High Impact Flicks. How you doing? Where are you from? And what do you want to talk about?
I'm from Melbourne, Florida. My name's Brody.
What's up, Brody?
Thank you first. I've been a long-time subscriber, and I love your channel. You bring so much clarity to everything. With this QAnon stuff, I'll get right to it.
Okay.
Because I know a lot of people are trying to get a hold of you. This QAnon. My wife is like knee-deep into it, if not farther, and her mom and everything. And I tried to explain to her that it's just another mind control. I mean, I really think if it ain't CIA, I don't even think the CIA is this smart to do this stuff, to control this stuff. I just think it's just so many whack jobs out there that want to hold on to, this belief that there's going to be a savior to save them. And I just wanted to see what you would think, how I could try to, talk some sense into them, because I'm about blue in the face.
Well, how have you tried to attack it, first of all? And the second thing is, well, I guess the first question I would ask you is, how did she react when she found out that Trump's not president?
Oh, she thinks, that it's all part of the plan, and it's all going to come out in the wash and everything like that. Like, her mother, my mother-in-law, was so mad at me because I said I wasn't going to vote. I mean, the last election, 2016, I voted for Trump because I didn't want Hillary Clinton. I mean, it was like the worst of two evils. I mean, since I've been out of the Marine Corps, I never voted until I got out of the Marine Corps. And everybody I voted for, the Bush, and not Cheney, what's his name, McCain, and then Romney, it was like I had to hold my nose every time I voted. And I was done with it. I just didn't want to vote. And she was like, you got to vote, you got to vote, you got to vote. And stupid me, just went ahead and voted for him. Because, but I'm tired of voting for the worst of two evils, because it's still evil.
Right. So what have you done to try to convince her that, hey, Q's really not the way to go, and here are the lies?
I mean, I showed her some of your videos, and she really loves you. She really said, well, yeah, but I don't know, man. It's just crazy how she's thinking, and I'm like, it's just really weird. And where I'm in Florida, it's a lot of people think this. I work all the local gun shows here, and you want to talk about some quack people, just go to a gun show if you want free, well, not free entertainment, but for $5. It's some easy, cheap entertainment to talk to some people at the gun shows, because I, work the local gun shows here, and it's just, I mean, everybody's like paying over $1 round for .380 ammo. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
No, I get it. I see I'm constantly scratching my head going, how can people continue to be involved in this? I've done all that I can do, and it does get frustrating, and it does seem like you're banging your head against the wall. Just don't give up. I mean, she's your wife, man. Just love her through it. There's really nothing else.
I love her, but I just wish there was, like a red pill. I take, like I almost got through her. I'm like, because she's never watched that movie, but whatever, Keanu Reeves. I'm like, you need to take the red pill or whatever that thing is, and she's like, she just doesn't understand that it's just nonsense. It's all fluff. I mean, I go back to the thing all the way back to Fast and Furious. that's when I realized the government was corrupt, because supposedly there was proven that the United States gave all these guns to the cartels to trace, and ended up killing Border Patrol agents, and nobody went to jail for that.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean,
Well,
and everybody said that, Eric Holder was going to go down. I mean, and before that, it's just a crock. I just wish Texas was just ceded from the Union, and I was born and raised there, and hopefully they'd let me go back and become back in Texas, but I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, things may get really interesting. Things may get really interesting after March 4th, because what I understand watching all these Q people is that March 4th is the time that Trump's going to march in with the military, and he's going to take over as the official president of the United States, and then the corporate president will be arrested, although he's already been arrested like last March. It's real convoluted. But what I would say with on her end, because she's following this Q stuff, she believes she's already taken the red pill, and she probably believes that you basically have some catching up to do, and you feel the same about her. So it's like when that's happening in your, it's one thing for me to be saying, hey, look at all this stuff happening outside, when in mine and Trisha's relationship, we're on the same page with anarchy and nobody has the right to rule you and all that kind of stuff. So it adds a layer of complexity in a relationship when you're living with a person that you love, who you don't want to see continue to be deceived and deceiving others, because not only is she believing the message, she's probably passing the message along to other people, right?
Oh yeah, she's always talking about the X-22 report to everybody. Yeah, and to talking about this stuff, and I can't stand it. She starts playing it on her little tablet thing. I have to get out, go in my garage, and start making bullets, because I can't take it.
Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. I don't know, man. Just I don't know if you've done.
It's not like she's a good person.
Yeah. I
mean, she's a preschool teacher. She teaches kids on base, and she's done that for over 20 years. And she's a really good person, but I mean, she just, I don't know. These people just got like her eyes blinders on her, like, just like horses. Like, she got her blinders on, and I'm trying to rip them off. I'm like, you gotta see the big picture.
Yeah,
it's all a farce.
No, I know.
And one more thing, I wanted to get your take on the GameStop thing. At first I thought everybody was flipping the bird to these hedge funds, which I don't even know what a hedge fund is.
Yeah.
I'm a simple man.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything, but I mean, last thing I heard, it's like way down. I mean, I think it was another deploy to take to steal money from people who trying to believe into this stuff. Well, I just want to hear your take on that, and that's all. But I love you, man. You're the best thing on YouTube, man. You're the only thing I watch on YouTube now.
Oh, wow. That's humbling, man. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you calling in. My take on the GameStop initially was, it's that long struggle between good and evil. It's like when you find out what a hedge fund manager is and what they do and how they've been raping America economically, and what happened back in 2008 with the TARP bailout. They're the people who overextended themselves with all these naked shorts and everything. So my initial reaction was, yeah, these guys in the basement bid up the price of GameStop so that they could make these guys pay, And so that's the draw into the story. But then me and Trish were talking today, and I was thinking, well, wait a second. Not too long ago, the CEO from this pet supply place named Chewy became the CEO for GameStop. How do we know that this wasn't all set up and that guy wanted to drive the price higher so that he could sell all his shares at $392 when they used to be trading at $18? We don't really know what's going on. You know what I mean? And another thing too is with the short sellers, all the the hedge fund managers, they're not stupid people. They're in this game to make money, and when they set a stop, they set a stop limit. So they're not going to let that stock go up to $300. There's going to be a stop that's going to stop them out. And usually it's a trailing stop so that they don't lose as much money. So I'm not even sure if we can trust what mainstream media is saying about Citadel bailing out, X company to the tune of $70 billion. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I know it's a psychological operation meant to transfer more power and wealth from the common man to the people who know what's really going on, i.e. the money masters.
All right. Thank you so much, Brian. You
All right.
keep keep up the good work. Keep on fighting, man.
All right, man.
You're the best one out there. Thank you.
Thanks for calling in, man. See you. Okay, a negative comment on me. Blake Jameson says you offer nothing of value and no path forward, Brian. Well, I don't know. Maybe you'll disagree after this, but I've got an app. It's an absolutely free app that anybody in the entire world can utilize. It's called the MINUTEMAN app, which has it's an app set, and you're not going to find it on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. It's got the Send Help app and the MINUTEMAN app, where you can actually create a cohesive, strong community. You set the parameters within, half a mile, 5 miles, 10 miles, or whatever. And then you have these meetup groups. You watch this video right here. It'll tell you exactly how to do it. There's absolutely no strings attached. So that's one path forward. Another path forward. And I've given a lot of examples of solutions that we could actually employ. Another really good one, because if we don't put the axe to the root of the tree, let's admit this. If we don't put the axe to the root of the tree and find out what the real problem is here. See, how do we fund wars? How do we fund the long and failed and costly and deadly drug war? How do we continue with civil asset forfeitures? How are law enforcement agencies, illegitimate law enforcement agencies, and politicians funded? They're funded through funny money, through the fiat currency Ponzi scheme, or unsound money. If we go back to a sound money, this right here is literally, in my hand, it's 1/20th of a troy ounce of 24 karat gold. That's what this is. If we can somehow create an alternate economy that runs independent of the false economy, we can start to get ourselves out of this mess. And the first building block that we can use to do that is, hold on one second.
To accept, press 1.
Hey, you're live on High Impact Flicks. Hold on one second, okay? Are you there? Hello? Can you hear me? All right. This is sound money. It's real gold. Gold and silver is sound money. So if you have something pegged to sound money, you can literally cripple the bankers. See, the Constitution was supposed to be made to constrain the power of the money masters by having Congress issue only gold and silver for the issuance, for the eradication of debt. Now we moved away from that as of 1913, have this fiat currency Ponzi scheme. Now the sky's the limit as to what they can print or the digits they can put into computer screens, and they can make this stuff up out of thin air. Gold can't be made up out of thin air. So you got this right here. Can this be manipulated? Yes, of course it can. It's got its own serial number. It's as legitimate, as durable, probably more durable. You can put this in a washing machine and it's just as durable as, or I think it's more durable than fiat currency. But that's one solution, and that's one path forward.
Philly boy.
To accept, press 1.
Hey, you're live on High Impact Flicks. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hey, Brian. Oh my God, I can't believe. Oh wait, hold up. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm getting a little excited because I'm watching you on the live right now, and I don't know what's going on, but I just want to say hi. I'm Philly boy. I'm Philly boy. I've been watching your vlogs and everything, and I can't say how much you really open up my mind of what the world is really going on, and I'm like, oh my God.
Where are you from?
Yeah.
Where are you from again?
I'm from Philadelphia.
Okay, cool. So what's the climate out there? Are you guys relatively free? I mean, what are some of the, I live in Cherokee County, Oklahoma. We're relatively free. Of course, we're not insulated from all the ills of the world, but for the most part, there's some general freedom going on. But I know in places like New York or Los Angeles, it's worse. So what's it like in Philadelphia?
I'm not gonna take too much of your time because I know a lot of people trying to call in, but Philadelphia as itself, I was told it was a free country and free land and all the other stuff. From I went to a public school. That's what I've been told. But ever since from growing up, I kind of see barely any freedom. A lot. It's just only to a certain type of people, or how you say certain type of race that has that privilege. Well, on the other hand, you got I don't know. It's hard to say because I'm still learning. You open my mind up for
a year and a half right now. Like, oh, man.
Are there a lot of people in your area that believe the QAnon stuff?
Sadly, yes.
So are you?
Sadly, yes.
So do you have a lot of friends in your zone of influence who actually buy onto that kind of stuff, or are people generally apolitical, or how's that work?
To be honest with you, like when I've been telling like my friends and especially my family and even my wife, they wouldn't even believe me what I'm talking about. They think I was like, pretty much they think I'm a conspiracy theorist or I'm a guy who's on drugs or something like that. And like the more I tell my friends usually like they don't want to talk to me because they think I'm talking nonsense, but I'm showing proof. I'm showing your videos, and I'm pretty much showing like most of the links you linked out, like with the Congress bill. There's like freaking pervasive bug BS and all the other stuff, but they still wouldn't believe me. And like I have family that runs in nurses in Maryland, and they told me like, "Oh, it's a big deal. You gotta take your shot, something like that." And I said, "No, that's not gonna happen. I'm sorry."
Right. Well, man, I really appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you very much for taking the time to call me.
Oh my God, I'm a big fan, Brian.
Hey, man.
I can't believe you pick up.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. You guys have a good night. Take care of the family, okay?
You too, Brian.
All right,
have a good one.
All right, bye. All right, guys, the number is 918-410-9174. Yeah, so, grab this app, download it. It works great. If you have any kind of tech issues, which you shouldn't, if you follow this video, you'll get the lowdown, and it's pretty easy to navigate. Again, it's an app set. You're not going to find it on the App Store. It's not going to be on Apple. It's not going to be on Google.
Call from Sister Shiksa.
Oh. Hey, can you hear me?
Hello, Brian.
Hello, how you doing?
And my name is Sister Shiksa. I used to do a YouTube channel, but I had to take it down quite some time ago because of threats from Antifa. But that's another story for another day. I just wanted to call in and discuss the QAnon thing and what I personally believe. So anybody that's ever watched my show, they know what I usually talk about. My personal belief, I have no proof, but I suspect that QAnon was a Mossad operation out of Israel. And Mossad has a department called the 8200 unit. And they are largely responsible for psychological operations across the globe, not just here in the United States, targeting citizens, what you would call like your normies or, your everyday average people that usually just enjoy your everyday average things. And what I am concerned about is that nobody is asking this question, or at least nobody in the mainstream media. I don't see politicians talking about this. Everybody says, oh, QAnon's a conspiracy. It needs to be shut down. But nobody has mentioned who is Q? Where did Q come from? It comes from a computer. We should be able to trace, track, and find out who was responsible. And that's why I firmly believe that the Mossad operation, which is also in cahoots with our own government, of course Mossad would be able to operate this kind of nonsense out there without being detected by our own government. The FBI and the CIA are all alerted to all these QAnon, what they call conspiracies. It's not that they're not, they're talking down about the conspiracies. It's that this is a psychological operation, and this is abuse. This is abuse of the people. You had a caller on earlier, and he was talking about his wife. What he doesn't realize is the person that started this QAnon, which I firmly believe is Mossad, is psychologically abusing his wife, and not just her. It is a psychological abuse program that is set to abuse people to believe a wild, what they call conspiracy theory. I honestly don't know much about their beliefs. I just know that it was about Trump being a hero, and any psychological abuse, it's narcissistic in nature. Is they take Trump, a figure, that all Americans that can look at and believe that he is the savior, and all the bad guys are all these other people, child abusers and, movie stars and whoever, it doesn't matter. The point is anybody who, and I'm not going to say these are dumb people. Like he said, his wife's a teacher. I've heard, even I had a coworker that I work with, and, he fell into the Q thing. I tried to talk him out of it. I even tried to say, I believe this operation doesn't even come from, the United States itself. But what you never see is any of these people saying, where does it come from? Nobody is searching for the keyboard that is typing up these messages. Nobody is exposing who it is. And the reason it is, who is ever behind this, is intended to project this psychological abuse operation upon a broad network of everyday normal people. Like I said, they're everyday and normal people, and now they're throwing labels on them. And I really feel bad for anybody who went to the Capitol. I really, really feel bad for them, and they're searching for these people because they fell into the trap. Now, I personally believe that was a honey trap for all those people to appear there. I personally believe that it was intended to make anybody who speaks out, it's making it criminal.
Yeah.
And this is,
it's basically the end result of that. If we're talking about what happened on January 6th at the Capitol, the end result of that is that they're going to ramp up Patriot Act 2.0 and then 3.0, and then they're going to enact censorship, and then they're going to penalize everybody for what a few people did, whether it was Antifa or BLM or Trump supporters. It doesn't even matter. And to me, in my opinion, to me, it scarcely matters what the origin of this is. I mean, we could debate all day long about if it's Mossad, is it in parallel with Operation Trust, which happened in 1921 through 1926. But the bottom line is, what is the end result of the trauma-based mind control, the psychological operation? The bottom line is to keep you mentally neutered so that you can stay in the hamster wheel of, hey, just trust the government's going to take care of you. Because let's face it, the same thread line and the same storyline that's coming out of Q is the exact same storyline that's coming out of mainstream media. Mainstream media wants us to look at politics and government as though it were legitimate. It's not. Q wants us to look at the government and politics as though it's something legitimate on the right side, and it's just not. And it keeps us taking personal responsibility for our own actions. And like I said, it keeps us in the hamster wheel of just being completely mentally neutered.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, you mentioned BLM and Antifa. That is another psychological operation on a different scale.
I agree.
They have been doing psychological profiling on the American citizens, or worldwide. This is not just an American problem.
Yep.
Psychological profiles on us. It just made it easier with the advent of computers and the advent of AI to profile somebody and be, like this person that passes by, they're more likely to fall into the QAnon. This person passing by, he's more likely to fall for Antifa. And they cater to that it's abuse. Bottom line,
exactly.
There's anybody who is perpetrating any of these narratives, whether it's the BLM side or the QAnon side, it doesn't matter. It's abuse. We're being abused. Honestly, I don't fall for it, obviously, but anybody who fell for it is abused, and they don't recognize that they have been abused. And there's that Stockholm syndrome, like that guy was talking. My wife still believes it, and she says this is good because she is under Stockholm syndrome at a mass scale, and she is not the only one. Now, I work in healthcare, and I'm going to tell you something. When this COVID stuff hit the fan.
Can you do me a real quick favor? Since we are live and the algorithms are super active on YouTube, can you maybe, monitor what you're saying a little bit?
Oh, I'll use it when this stuff happened about a year ago.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Right.
A certain your mom, mom, came out and had certain members of the healthcare community. We had to sign NDAs.
Really?
And yes, absolutely.
Wait,
I still have copies of.
NDAs for the healthcare facility or what?
I am a first responder.
Okay.
And as a first responder, they were preparing us to respond to certain situations involving that certain thing that happened about a year ago.
Yeah. Wait. Let me stop you for a second. So do you reach out to other people who are first responders, say in other states? Have they had to sign similar NDAs?
Absolutely. Well, this is how I know that we had to sign NDAs with your FEMA. I'm from Chicago.
Yeah.
By the way, and when it first hits, one of the areas they kept talking about was New York. So the company that I was working for, that Fee Your Mom, had subcontracted them to send a bunch of first responders to New York. Mm-hmm. And the ambulances that were being sent to New York were in place of not just, because the fire department, the FDNY, which is the, the local, they could not handle the call volume. So what they do is they subcontracted out ambulances from all over, not just Chicago, all over the United States. And they we sent at least 10 ambulances, and I know we weren't the only ones. But anybody who is going to these deployments, and we actually just came back from one from the inauguration, Fee Your Mom had sent a bunch of our ambulances for the inauguration. Did you know that? They had a bunch of us go out there for that.
No, were you there?
No, I wasn't. I refused to sign that NDA.
Okay.
But I didn't go. It's big money too. That's talking about turning down like $20,000.
Yeah, I saw the flyers. It was in the $10,000 and $20,000 range. The flyers that I saw.
Yeah, I have coworkers that went to the New York round, and we just got people back from the inauguration. They absolutely had ambulances stationed with the National Guard, and they were subcontracting because they don't have a first responder unit, so they subcontract with private companies because they can't handle that. They actually did have us go out there, but during the first wave of ambulances that went out there, the NDAs, they were not allowed to talk about what they saw, how to respond to the virus and all this other stuff. So I just wanted to put it out there. I want the public to know that if this is truly a humanitarian cause, if I am being sent and a good-natured person, why are you asking us to sign NDAs?
Yeah.
I don't trust any government institution that requires a healthcare provider
to censor themselves
to sign an NDA.
Yeah, because you're basically censored.
Absolutely.
You can't talk. You're basically verbally muzzled. Yep. Well, getting back to the QAnon sense, like Edward Bernays said, the father of public relations, we are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes are formed, our ideas suggested largely by men we've never heard of. And getting back to another really key thing that you said was that they've got something for everybody. It's like a 31 flavor psychological operation. If you don't like the chocolate, hey, we have rainbow and vanilla chocolate chip. So they're going to appeal to somebody on some level, whether it's BLM or Antifa or Q or follow Trump or follow Obama. Something's going to appeal to somebody and something's going to hit, because the psychological operators they've been studying us for a long time, and they know exactly how to push our buttons and pull our levers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I never trusted Trump. I never trusted Obama. You went back and said, don't participate in voting, but I've been voting write-in votes. And I'm going to tell you, I voted for Scooby-Doo last time around. And I voted for Mickey Mouse. I voted for Donald Duck. Take your pick. I've voted for pretty much every cartoon character out there since Bill Clinton. And that was the first time that I put in Mickey Mouse was against Bill Clinton. So, and that was just to show that when they get my ballot back, it's ridiculous nonsense. I've always did the write-in vote. My state, luckily, we do have write-in votes. And I know they took that power away from the people. But, it just irks me to think that anybody, that if you have a loved one following any of these narratives, they are abuse victims. If they cannot see through the veil of the lie, they are being abused and they are victims. And we need to find out who. I mean, I know you said it doesn't matter who, but to me it does, because they are criminals. And they will continue their criminal activity and perpetrate this kind of psychological abuse. And they're going to take this, all that QAnon people, they all know who you are if you've ever participated in any of that. You know what that sets you up for? The next QAnon, which is going to be something different. It's not going to be QAnon, but it's going to be a different type of psychological operation in order to subdue you. And it might not be it might be have some jackbooted thug come through your door with a gun to take your gun.
Yep.
And they're going to turn around and say, because of QAnon, you have to surrender your guns. You have to surrender your rights, your property. I mean, we are losing rights to our property as we speak. Yep. People are not realizing right now, as we speak, Joe Biden and company are figuring a way to make your property not yours.
Yep, you will own, you will own nothing, and you will be happy, says the Great Reset.
And I'm going to be honest, Joe Biden is just a puppet, just like the last 20, 30, 40 clowns that were out there. The only president I think that was ever honest, and it's the last honest president ever, was, we all know he got assassinated in 1963. You know, and that's why he got bopped, you know, and they continue to off those people in that bloodline. But I'm going to let you go and let you take another caller. I just wanted to call in. Some of your viewers might have watched my show in the past, and they know I've talked about, you know, social constructs of a technocratic oligarchy. Pretty soon, what people, and just before I go, I want to say that this thing about end the police or, you know, defund the police, that is because they are preparing. And I'm going to tell you right now, with the FEMA or the Be Your Ma training that I've been through, because I have been through training, even though I didn't go to some of those responses, I have been to some training exercises. They are training first responders and police and military to work with drones. And what people don't realize, the whole thing behind the BLM is to get them to defund the police, have a crime run rampant. So when the people are like, hey, you got rid of the police, what is your solution? If you're going to get rid of the police, what's the solution? Every politician out there is going to say putting drones on the street. That is the next level, and that is why they're unrolling that five. You know what? That's not for your cell phone stuff. That is so that the drones that they're about to put on the street can daisy chain off the street lights. They can daisy chain off of whatever communication network that it creates for them to operate off of. That is going to be the next level of policing. And there is a town in New Jersey called Elizabeth, New Jersey, and they were training first responders and police and whatever military. They were using that town to learn how to respond with drones. So in about 10 to 15 years, I guarantee there's going to be more drones on the street policing people and less police officers, if none. You're not going to see any.
Yeah.
So thank you for.
Yeah. And to me, that's a catch-22 too, because, you know, what are the police? They're the law enforcers. What are they enforcing? They're enforcing political law, the laws of politicians. It's backed by the threat of force. And so basically it's a catch-22. On the one hand, yeah, police shouldn't actually exist, because they exist only by stealing taxation from the tax cattle so that they can exist, and then they further supplement their income and buy all their nice cruisers and buy nice police headquarters by initiating the law on the war against drugs, which isn't a war against drugs, it's a war against people. So there's kind of a thing there. So I think the way to solve that is to empower the people. And to empower the people, you tell them, look, the police, even according to Supreme Court's documents, are not there to protect you. They have no obligation to protect you. What is that? DeShaney versus Winnebago established that case. Even somebody who's in immediate peril, The police are under no obligation to come and rescue you from a perilous situation. So I think the answer to that is to say, okay, you guys aren't citizens, you're individuals, and you're responsible for your own safety. One of the best ways you can empower yourself is by getting yourself a personal protection device, learning how to use it, and getting firearms. See, because what politicians do when they create laws is they empower criminals, because criminals don't obey the laws, and they victimize the people who are the law abiders. So, for example, in a gun-free zone, do you think a criminal is going to go into a gun-free zone and go, oh, I shouldn't have this firearm? No, the criminal is going to go in with his firearm, but the law abider won't, because that's what a law abider does. So I think one of the things to make societies more safe is to tell them we are not going to and are under no obligation to protect you. You need to protect and empower yourself.
Oh, absolutely. And that's just another layer of the psychological abuse that they place upon people, is to make them think that they don't need a gun to protect themselves.
Right.
And
Yep.
that's a psychological abuse.
It
That
is.
is already been ingrained in a lot of people. And I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to discuss some of the things. And I just wanted to point out, I felt really bad for that guy who was trying to get his wife to break free from the psychological operation that she's under. And she is not alone. He is not alone. And if we can ever find out who the people are that is doing this, we need to, because they're criminals.
Yep.
Bottom line, these are criminals.
Well,
On a large scale.
I really appreciate you calling in.
All right. Thank you, Brian. And this is Sister Shiksa. For any of your viewers out there that remember when I did some shows, have a nice evening.
Yeah, you too. How do you spell your last name? Sister what?
It's Sister Shiksa.
How do you spell that?
S-H-I-C-K-A.
Sister Shika?
Shiksa. You know what a shiksa is, right?
No.
Yeah.
Educate me. I don't. Educate me.
It's a derogatory term for a non-Jewish woman.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know that. All right, cool. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time, and thanks for calling in.
All right. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Okay, guys, let's do one more call at 7:43 p.m. Central Standard Time, which means it's 8:43 Eastern Standard Time, and we are 2 hours and 43 minutes past the time at which the military is supposed to take over all mainstream media, and they haven't done so yet. So I got time for one more call, and I think that was a great caller. Oh, thanks, Jack Wilder. Thanks, Sister Shiksa. Okay, cool. I couldn't understand it on the phone. What's up, sliding into it? You're funny, sliding into it. All right, cool. That was a good call. All right, phone lines are open one more time, and let's see, is my number still up there? 918-410-9174. Guys, let me have it. Where am I wrong on what we talked about tonight? Yeah, history is inverted. Oh, let me go over some super chats. Beef dropped $25. Love the channel. Miss the beard. Stay well. Climate change moron donated $3. Said, dear Brian, love you, man. God bless. Alistair Williams, he's good, funny, large following, 90% spot on, but as we all know, this gives more legitimacy to the 10% of lies that are dangerous. He pushes the QAnon. Maybe some of you can sort him out. Awesome. Just point in my direction. I'd love to just talk to him, find out why he believes what he believes. The Art of Truth and Love dropped a $50 donation and says, thanks, Brian. Not into cult of personality, but you deserve a thanks for standing up and fighting. I appreciate that. The Art of Truth and Love. Climate Change Moron also dropped another $3 and says, Brian, God bless. Love you, man. Bit off topic, but really think you will be interested. Conversations with Tom Barrett on the Adrian channel. He's a virologist. Interesting stuff on distilled water, true nature of the virus, etc., especially DMSO. All right, cool. Thanks. Does anybody want to... Is my phone working? Yep. All right, so it's open. I'll leave it open for about another... Mike Liddell says, I tried to super chat, never asked for card number. I don't know if I don't think the credit card thing is open. Let me see. I don't think it's let me try it, guys. Yeah, I don't know if it takes credit cards. Let me see. Yeah, I think it just does PayPal, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I'll try to look into that. Maybe it's something I got to change in PayPal. My phone is offline? Really? Let me see. Notifications. Do not disturb. Hey, babe, try to call my phone. I'm going to have Trish test it. It should be on. I'm not going to. Oh, 918-410-9174. Turn phone on. It's 918-410-9174. Phone is off. Huh. Yeah, see, it's on. Really? It's going to voicemail? Does it say it's going to voicemail? Let me turn my phone off and turn it back on, guys. I got to get a better way of communicating. There's some kind of switchboard you can get. I just haven't looked into it. Marco says the Google subscriber you're trying to track is not available. All right, let me turn it off and turn it back on. Call failed. CIA gotcha. Yeah, 410-9174. 918-410-9174. All right, I'm powering up my phone back up. Antarctica Rica, your line is busy, it says. Whoa, sorry guys. Sorry about that. Forgot about that. Well, I know I just restarted my phone. Hold on one second. You know, I don't know about the legitimacy of this Operation Trust, but it sure does sound like it parallels Operation Trust the Plan, which is the Q movement. It's pretty interesting how the parallels, you know, basically coincide. Okay, guys, it should be. Try it now, babe. My phone should be up now. Still no? Okay, so what could be happening is it could have my mailbox could be open. I mean, full. All right, let's see. Did somebody say they wanted me to call them? Yeah, I think my mailbox is full, guys. Conversation. No, it's not ringing.
Mine says call can't be completed as dialed.
Really? We'll get this sorted out, guys.
Call me and let me see if the number comes up on mine.
All right, guys, we'll just do this next time. We've been going, let's see, an hour and 47 minutes. I didn't want to make this too long, but here, let me we'll just go ahead and end this. Hearing the voice of the people, shut it down. Oh, wait. Hey, you're live on High Impact TV. High Impact Flicks, how you doing?
Hey, Brian, it's Think For Yourself in the chat room. How you doing?
Hey, good. How you doing?
All right. Look, I'm surprised I got in. I had to call you like 20 times.
Yeah, I was having some technical difficulties.
Listen, I just wanted to call in and let you know you're doing a great job, you and Trish.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that. It means a lot.
I mean, I know you're struggling right now with defeat issues, but you know, when you're over the target, the government's going to lay it on you, especially when you don't want, especially when you don't want them on you.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, I know a lot of people who are YouTubers and they did DLive and they went over to Trovo and all this kind of stuff. What really kills me is the censorship has gotten so intense that a lot of people are really, really suffering economically. You know, PayPal shutting people down, Patreon shutting people down. Banks are calling and saying, hey, we can't do business with you anymore because you're engaging in hate speech and all this nonsense. So it is getting pretty heavy-handed.
Yeah, Red Ice TV, I just got through watching their stream before I joined yours.
Yep.
You know, they're the example of that.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
Lana,
Henrik and Lana from Red Ice TV, if I'm not mistaken, they actually got that letter in the mail from their bank saying, "Hey, we're gonna discontinue business with you. You have 60 days to get your stuff out of your account."
Right, yeah, exactly. Well, they moved to Idaho now, so it's just, it's crazy. Censorship is the ultimate cancer to this country,
It really is.
Really is. Aren't we a country of supposed to be freedom of speech?
Yep, exactly. And you know what? I'm really glad that you said that. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I would have ended this live stream without saying this. I don't want, as much as I disagree with him and Michael Jaco and Charlie Ward, I do not want them censored at all, because I feel like when you're dealing with a society of adults, we can all think for ourselves. And if you don't agree with it, if you don't want to watch it, then don't turn it on. But don't request a third party to force somebody else to silence their speech.
Absolutely. We all have a voice, and we all need to learn how to use it. We don't need them telling us what we should believe or whatever. We know what in our hearts or what to believe.
Yep. I totally agree, man. Totally agree.
But listen, I don't want to tie you up. I know you and Trish probably either working on your arms or legs tonight there at the gym.
That's right, man. I appreciate it.
But I've known you for a while, and it's the first time I've gotten to talk to you in person. But I've been following your streams, and you've really woken me up. And I just want to let you know, keep firing off and letting these people know.
Man, that means everything. Thank you so much.
So I'll see you in the chat, Brian. I love you, brother. Say hi to Trish, and I love Dakota. And I would really love to know where you got Dakota from, though.
Oh, you know what? Trish got Dakota. Dakota was dropped off in like a supermarket parking lot, and they picked Dakota up as a pup from a parking lot, just wandering around. Can you believe that? He's the best Chihuahua I've ever met in my entire life.
And I was talking to my mom. Me and my mom have worked through this whole plan or scam-demic ourselves. She's 75 years old. She told them they can take the vax, and
yeah,
because of the algorithms, and you and me, and tell them what to do with it.
That's right.
And she's like, she wants a Chihuahua, and I was just like, oh, I have to ask Brian, where they got their Chihuahua from. Maybe I can, get that for her, because she lives by herself, and my father has passed away, and she needs that company.
Yeah, I got you, man. Well, thanks for calling, Trish.
All right, Brian, I'll let you go.
Trish says hi.
All right, thanks, Trish. I appreciate it. Keep Brian strong and young.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, bud.
All
right, take care. Bye-bye.
Spider Rucker says, I got banned today from Facebook for saying Bush should do the world a favor and... You know what? I got banned for 60 days from, I think I told everybody in D-Live this, but I got banned for 60 days from Facebook for a post that I posted on May 21st, 2020 on a channel that doesn't even exist anymore. Hey, you're live on High Impact Flicks. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man?
Sorry, I was in the middle of saying something, so I said it in your ear. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. Yeah, it's funny that you're doing a live show right now, because this morning I was watching. Do you watch Tim Pool at all?
I haven't watched Tim Pool in a long, long time.
Yeah, I like to pretty much explore all avenues of thought. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So Tim Pool is somebody I listen to. You, of course, I've listened to you for years. I emailed you a while back about, I don't know if you remember. I know you get a lot of emails, but I have a service dog. I was fired from federal employment. I don't know if you remember that. It was a German Shepherd.
I don't remember.
We spoke back and forth. It's fine. Yeah, we spoke a few times. But, yeah, I was thinking about you this morning when I was listening to Tim Pool, because I was like, God, this guy, he only gets certain people on his show. And I was like, you know what would be great is if they would get Brian on the show. Have you ever thought about trying to reach out and see if you get onto his live cast?
I have reached out to him, and he won't get. He got back to me, but then when I asked him, "Hey, let's do a live stream," he didn't get back to me again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought about that, and it's great that you're doing a live. This is the first time I've ever seen you do a live call-in, so that's why I wanted to take advantage of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I've done one. Actually, you know what? I don't think I've done a live call-in on YouTube, but I have done a live call-in on D-Live. So I may have done the one on D Live and then pre-recorded it and put it on YouTube, but I don't think I ever did a direct one with YouTube. But yeah, I would like to get on. The reason I would want to talk to Tim Pool is because I would want him to lay out exactly what he believes. Because I know Tim Pool for a long time was a Bernie bro. I know he got enamored with Tulsi Gabbard. And I want to ask him specifically what he thinks the Constitution means, specifically regarding the Second Amendment and the Fourth Amendment and the 10th Amendment, all three of which Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard, who, you know, from the Democratic perspective, look like, hey, especially Tulsi Gabbard, she looks like, hey, she's for the Constitution. She's against regime change wars. And I understand the appeal to Tulsi on that.
You can't trust a politician.
Yeah, exactly. So I would like to drill down on Tim Pool because, you know, he does come off as a smart guy, but it just seems like he's so on the fence that it's kind of destructive to his audience. I don't know.
I think, so the reason why I think the Tim Pool message would be extremely powerful is because you have a lot of people, not just from the conservative realm, that are starting to like open their eyes more, but you have a lot of people from the left side too that are kind of like, they followed Tim for a long time, and the more he became, I guess, conservative, free thinking, they started doing it along with him. So that's what I'm saying. Like I've sent messages, or I've sent videos of you to my family, and it's like, it's so far fringe for them because they're not there yet. You know, it's like they'll watch Tim Pool, but they won't watch you.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting.
I'm not saying anything bad about you. I think
I get
certain things for them is so extreme.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about calling somebody like me or somebody with the mentality of anarchism, which is just basically, I don't want a ruler in my life, and I don't think you want a ruler in your life. What's interesting to me about that is just I want to live in a world where people don't want to support and with their own handwriting somebody to rule me and rob me. You know, I think that's reasonable. That's not extreme. It's just reasonable.
You would think that's common sense.
Yeah.
But some people are so brainwashed to think other people are there to take care of them.
Right.
So
I agree.
I don't know. And there's a couple things I wrote down while I was watching you really fast here. If you don't mind, can I just go through them really fast?
Go for it, man.
Okay. Yeah. So one. So obviously I talked about Tim Pool. You know, it's interesting, and I won't say the name of what I'm about to go down that rabbit hole of, but 41% of states or something like that. I think all states are down 41% in certain numbers that dealt with a flu-like symptom type of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In the past few weeks. That to me, if people aren't waking up to that, they're beyond help. You know, it's scary because I always refer back to Hitler, and I always refer back to all these Stalinist type of leaders. Do you think they just took over overnight? It took years for these people to get so used to being cooked like a frog type of thing in a pot.
Yeah.
To where they don't realize what's going on around them.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting about that? Just taking it one step further, did you see I think it was 3 or 4 days ago now, Anthony Robbins, the motivational speaker, did you see what he said about the Johns Hopkins University and the numbers that you're referring to?
No, I tried to find that on YouTube and I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Like, surprise, right?
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I would be interested to find out if it was on YouTube because it was all over BitChute and Telegram and everywhere. But to have somebody of Anthony Robbins' caliber, and I consider Anthony Robbins a serious insider, you know, because this guy has coached entertainers, sports stars, he's hobnobbed with presidents and all that kind of stuff. But for him to come out and drop all the truth bombs he did along the lines of the data you just presented, as far as all the flu, you know, the flu-like symptoms, heart disease, all these other numbers have completely tanked, while the other number went up, but the overall numbers are staying the same as they were. And he literally said, same numbers, same death numbers, overall death numbers for 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015. And for somebody to come out and say that and basically red pill everybody, and for other people to listen to that and not start questioning their own paradigm kind of startles you, you know?
Well, plus the fact that there was, I think it was the CDC, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they stop recording flu this year?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay, I saw that. I saw that on some information a while back, and I kind of looked into it. But it's like they just stopped doing the numbers or something like that. Maybe your viewers in the comments and stuff will say otherwise. But so the other thing I was going to say. So my background, I was in the Marines for like 13 years. I got medically retired, and then I went over to federal Homeland Security, and I was in intelligence and everything like that. So when the Q subject comes up, like I have two sides of me that wants to be very critical of it, and then one that has a natural intel side of saying, okay, well, what do we got? Let's look and see what got people to where they're at right now.
I agree.
And that's what is so annoying. Like, my mom, I love her to death, but she's on the Q train. And it's every time she would send something to me, I try, and I'm very, very open to everything. Like, if anybody says, hey, oh my God, I saw a UFO, I'm like, did you take a picture? No. Did you take a video? No. Dude, unfortunately, I can't believe you. You're like, I believe in that stuff, but I can't take people at their word. And I think that I feel bad for my mom and a lot of other people's, because unfortunately, I feel they're taking advantage of right now with the fear mongering, but they are being fed what they want to hear, and I don't blame them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do in a way, but I don't. You got to think about it. A lot of these people, to them, it's insane that Biden got in. But then again, they just were praying for something to come along to save them. And the one thing I told my mom, I was like, Mom, look, I've been in government for over 20 years now, in the sense of like what I did. Government doesn't save government. What regimes have had people within take over and become good again? It's extremely rare. So I don't blame them, because they want hope, and they want to think that something great is going to happen, which I'm not saying something great won't happen, but it definitely won't be government employees that are literally the order followers. I mean, you look at all the cops throughout the country. I love law enforcement. I used to be in law enforcement with the federal side, and it's like they're just brainwashed to do what they're told and not question orders. And I kind of understand that in a way, but then again, at what point does it stop? Because there was people in Germany, in Nazi Germany, shooting mothers with children. And do you think they thought about doing that when they first started the job? No, it literally took them years to get used to that and get softened up to it. And then next thing you know, they're doing stuff like that. And that's what's scary about all the fellow law enforcement, especially that I worked with. It's like they got to keep their job, and they're not realizing what's going on, what it looks like from the outside now.
Yeah, and when your well-being and your family's well-being depends on you keeping that job, it's rare for that man to break off from that and come to the knowledge of the truth, because in coming to the knowledge of the truth, you risk the job that's actually feeding your family. So it becomes cyclical, and then they enter into this hamster wheel that they can't escape from, because they feel like if they buck the system, if they stand up to the man, if they stand on their morals and stop being a conformist, stop being an order follower, well, then all is lost in the home front.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I just have a question for you.
Real quick. Just
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. I was in St. Louis. I think it was back in 2014 or 2015, and I was talking to a law enforcer, and he admitted to me, and I wish my camera was rolling because I was recording everything when I was in St. Louis, because I just thought it was a great place. But when I engaged in this conversation with him, he admitted to me, he goes, I know what you're saying, because I was talking to him about order followers and the difference between a conformist and a moralist. He goes, I understand what you're saying, but man, at the end of the day, and this is literally what he said, he says, I gots to feed my kids. And then he walked away from me, and it's like, man, that's really the bottom line. You made your choice.
That's scary.
Yeah,
that's scary though.
Very scary. So, very scary.
What I know, so like you're doing platforms and stuff to outreach and everything for people, which I think is great, but like, what do you think the common man and woman should do as far as right now? Like, it's hard because a lot of people will stay so true to the Constitution, but they won't act on it. And I'm not saying act of violence or anything, but when it comes down to like just outreach or I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, what is your message to everybody on this?
Well, because I believe
like, what's going on?
Because not just I believe, but objectively speaking, truth is the first casualty in any war. The best thing What's that?
No, I'm sorry. It's my wife and kid.
Okay.
Yeah,
no, the best thing you could absolutely do is know the truth, know what the truth is, know what objectivity is, know how to be critical of yourself and what you think of, and then come to that knowledge, because unless you got it in your heart, unless you've come to the knowledge of what actually truth is and what morality is. And I'm not talking about anything enigmatic. I'm talking about something that's not vague, but is very specific. And that is, if you live your life doing to other people what you would want done to you, you should expect that same kind of thing from other people, because if they don't act along those lines, that is the very definition of immorality. One of the big things that tears our society, the fabric of our society apart, is when social engineers get into everybody's head and then we let go of our moral compass. When the moral compass is gone, all is lost. When we get that back is the only way we can win. So if truth is the first casualty in any war, then what you need to do is you need to decimate the lie by exposing the sunlight of the truth to that lie. That is the best thing that you could possibly do to society. And that's something that everybody can do. Everybody.
Yeah, I agree. Let me get off the phone. I know you got other calls and stuff, but I got my wife. She's leaving to work right now. So
hey, thank you very much for calling.
I really appreciate the time, and I look forward to hearing from you on other videos, man.
Hey, no problem, man. Thank you. Take care.
All right, bye.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna end that there, and that'll be the end, because let me just turn this off right here. All right, guys. Oh man, I just turned my phone off, guys. All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate you coming in. There was a quote by, I think it was, man, it would be great to end it with that. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was Patrick Henry. Said something about along the lines of, man, once you lost your moral compass, it's pretty much all over. You can be easily confused and, let's see. Oh, here we go. It's actually two quotes. I don't remember who it comes from. But no people will tamely surrender their liberties, nor can any be easily subdued when knowledge is diffused and virtue is preserved. On the contrary, when people are universally ignorant and debauched in their manners, they will sink under their own weight without the aid of foreign invaders. And I saw somebody, I don't know who it was in the chat room. Maybe you can re-chat. So you said you asked me questions that I never give answers or something like that. Something along the lines of voting. You have to be debauched in your manners to vote for, and your vote is your support, your written support to have somebody, a third party, rule over and rob other people. That is debauched in your manners, and that is sinking under your own weight without the aid of foreign invaders. As soon as we eliminate that from our own minds, we can start helping to cleanse society. And I'm not saying that I am any great thing and that I've arrived or anything like that. But guys, we all know that you don't want to be harmed. You don't want to be stolen from. You don't want somebody to beat your mother at a bus station. So you wouldn't do that to somebody else's mother. You don't want your grandparents to be broken in on and have all the things that they've, accumulated during their lives through blood, sweat, and tears to be taken from them at gunpoint. We all know this. And then the next quote is, a general dissolution of principles and manners will more surely overthrow the liberties of America than the whole force of the common enemy. While the people are virtuous, they cannot be subdued. But when once they lose their virtue, then they'll be ready to surrender their liberties to the first external or internal invader. So it's all about us holding the moral compass and holding the line that is not enigmatic. It's not vague. It's do to others what you would want done to you. If you see somebody not following that, you know that's not a good person. You know that's a person you need to get to and, try to rehabilitate. If they're not rehabilitatable, i.e. governors, senators, congressmen, presidents, they're wanting to rule you, and they're going to the voting booth so that you can be ruled and robbed, we got a serious problem. And we got to get our heads out of our collective arses and change this thing. Let me, I don't want to sidestep anybody's donation. Let's see. I already read a climate change moron. Mark Bozek says, Brian, you have become too good of an influence. My Mark 2.0 podcast is one strike away from being taken down for good. Little do they know podcast is on tons of platforms. Keep it up. I'm not shutting up. Awesome. Mark 2.0 podcast. Put that, somebody put Mark 2.0. Let me just go to it real quick and give it a shout out. Mark 2.0 podcast. Let me see if it'll pull up. I'll just drop the link in the chat for you. Mark Bozak. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna put this channel link so you guys can check it out. If you guys visit and you end up subscribing, he's got 48 subscribers. Is that the right one, Mark? I appreciate you being out there, man. Jonathan Benson drops $5 and says, I was attacked by Antifa in Denver and my whole life could be over next week in court. Jonathan Benson, details are in September on Facebook. Okay, so let me see. Let me pull that up, Jonathan. Hold on one second. Let me pull that one up too. Jonathan. All right, which one is it, Jonathan Benson? Let's see. I can't, let me see. I don't know which one is yours. Jonathan Benson. Jonathan Benson, which one is it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, guys. Before you leave, if you could drop the video a like if you liked what you heard. If you didn't, don't drop a like. I'm not sure which one is yours, man. The Art of Truth and Love dropped another $20 donation. Thank you. 1 minute mark. Shoot, the thing is, I can't copy and paste what you gave me. I got to figure out a way to do that. The Art of Truth and Love dropped another $20 donation. Said the only thing for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. ME just dropped $5 and said, want to ask about another view on taxes. Don't read my number. Man, I really got to go. But I do want to hear that. So I might call you a little later or maybe tomorrow. Choco Smoke just dropped $5. Said, we appreciate you, Brian. We appreciate you, Brian. It's going totally Southern on you. We appreciate you, Brian, the whole truth community. God bless. Keep up the good fight. Take care. Salute. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Jonathan Benson, are you still out there? I don't know which channel is yours. Oh, man, it's too many messages to go through. Critical Thinker, what's up, man? The corrupt ones are protected, period. Yep, they truly are. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. Thanks for contributing to the chat room. Thanks for the likes. If you got something out of this video and you think you want to share it with somebody else that's might benefit, please share it with them on everywhere on social media. I will see you guys on the next heavily censored, shadow ban, and fully demonetized video.